Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Rowe. We're looking at Geometry Part B. This is Lesson 3. And we're going to look at another example like number 5. So here's another example, and we're going to do kind of the same thing that's similar to the one in the actual problem. We're going to dilate triangle ABC with a scale factor of 1/3 about point C. And you notice point C right here. It is not the origin. It is a point other than the origin. So we're going to use a technique where we have to make a table, fill in the table, and then create the final dilation. The dilation, when we get done, will be somewhere in between these two points right here. So in between this point and the figure itself, somewhere in here is most likely where the triangle will be, because it is a dilation of 1/3, which is a reduction. So the figure will be smaller and closer to the center. So now how do we do all this? Well, the first thing we got to do is we got to identify the things that we know. We got to identify point A, B, and D, and we've got to identify point C. So I'm going to pull my table over here, and we're going to fill in some of this information. So where is point A? Point A is at 1, 2. Point B is at 4, 8. And point D over here is at -5, +5. Alright, so what is the center? The center is another thing that we need to know. It's important, so let's take a look at where the center is. The center is at 7, -4. And we're using a scale factor, so we have to scale. When we have to scale the distance, we're going to multiply each point by 1/3, and we'll talk about how to do that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the distance, and everything here is involving a distance. We're going to find the distance from the center to point A. Now this is a left and right, up and down, so positive and negative distance. So I'm just going to simply count. I'm actually going to draw this one out so you can see exactly what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to draw kind of like a slope right here. I'm going to draw from here to here. And then I'm going to draw that distance right there, and I'm going to count. So how far is this line from here to here? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. So the distance along the x-axis, since I take 6 steps to the left to get there, would be -6. And it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units up. So 6 units up. So there's my distances. +6 horizontal, or -6 horizontally, +6 vertically. So do the same thing to find point B. So point B, I'm going to get some other colors here, try to do this one more time for you. So point D, or point B right here, we're going to go to right here. So we're going to count to right there, and we're going to count up to point D, or point B, excuse me, I keep saying D. So I'm going to count. So that's 1, 2, 3 steps. So from point B, it is -3 steps to the left, or -3 steps. Then up, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 units up. So there is my count right there. Then finally we're going to do the same thing for point B, or excuse me, point D. We're going to count all the way over to point D, which is right here. So we're going to count to right there from the center. Then we're going to count up. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 units. And since I went to the left, it's negative 12. And I'm going to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 steps up. And so really, for right now, I'm kind of done with this picture. I don't need it anymore because I've counted all my units. So now what do? I apply the scale factor to each one of these units. So I'm going to apply negative 6 times 1/3. Positive 1/3. 6 times 1/3, that's going to be 6 over 3, which is negative 2. Do the same thing for 6, so that'll be positive 2. And now what do I do here? I add, it says right there, add to the center. So I'm going to have 7 plus negative 2, negative 4 plus 2. And so I'm going to have a new set of coordinates now. 7 plus 2, or plus negative 2 is 5. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. So my new coordinates would be 5, negative 2. And I'm going to follow that same process for negative 3, 12. So negative 3 times 1/3, that's going to be negative 1. And then 12 times 1/3 is going to equal 4. Do the same thing, the center. I've got 7, negative 4. 7 plus negative 1. 4, negative 4 plus 4. So my new point for my image, which would be B prime for this one, this was A prime, would be 6, 0. And then finally, for 12, 9, we'll do the same thing. Negative 12 times 1/3, that's going to be negative 4. And then 9 times 1/3 is going to be 3. I'm going to add those to my center. 7 plus negative 4, negative 4 plus 3. So my new coordinates for my image D prime would be 3, negative 1. So now I need the graph again. So I'll bring my graph back over. Now the only thing I need from the graph or from the table are those coordinates, because that's what I'm going to plot now. I'm going to plot those 3 points on my graph. And draw my new triangle. So I'm going to plot 5, negative 2, which is right here. I'm going to plot 6, 0, which is right there. And I'm going to plot 3, negative 1, which is right here. So there is my new triangle. And you notice I'm using a straight edge to get straight lines here. And so I'm going to label everything now. This is going to be A prime, B prime, D prime, and that is a finished dilation. You notice, just like I said, the figure is between the original and the center because it is a reduction. If it was enlargement, it would be somewhere over here more than likely. I used this table, and everything worked out nicely just to make my coordinates. And I just have to graph. So I hope this helps you. One more example showing you how to do this. If you still need help with this, please let me know in a teacher message or make an appointment for a help session.